Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. Come on in here. This is called the Bible Bistro. We studying the Psalms verse by verse. 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. That's what we do right here at Daily Dose Radio. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you. Welcome. Let me just remind you about our website, my-dailydose.com. You can find all kinds of information there about the podcast. You can find links to social media sites and some rich content in our blog section. Please check it out at my-dailydose.com. All right, today we're looking at verses 9 and 10 in Psalm 24. Psalm 24 is just absolutely one of the most beautiful psalms, isn't it? Haven't you enjoyed this? I mean, look at the redeemed man that we had on Tuesday and Wednesday was just absolutely wonderful. And then this, yesterday and today, studying who this King of Glory is. He's the King of Glory. So who is he? And we're told about him. And now I kind of dealt yesterday with the structure, the gates. We talked about that, the King of Glory coming in through those gates. Perhaps this is a worship responsive kind of thing, maybe even used in some sort of a march where they actually go in through the gate. And so the question is, who is this King of Glory? Now, we had the who earlier in the psalm, who can ascend? And we decided, well, nobody can, unless the Lord does the work that he promises in verse 5, which is, he will be lifted up by a blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. Only God can give us the ability to stand in his presence. All right, well, that's us. We're weak, we're sinners, and we cannot ascend there. But the King of Glory can come in. Why is that? Who is this King of Glory? Well, the very first thing we're told in verse 8, he's strong and mighty. And then it says he's mighty in battle. So the very first thing we learned about him is that he is capable of winning the battle. Now you can take this thought all the way back to what he did in Egypt when he bared the arm and stretched forth his hand. And he showed himself mighty on behalf of his people in delivering them from Egyptian captivity. And I am certain that this is part of the shadow of these words here. The psalmist wants us to think about that. He's also wanting us to think about all those that he overthrew in the conquest of the land, how the people, as they moved into Canaan, all of the inhabitants were uprooted and destroyed or removed. He is the one who did that. So he is strong. He is mighty. He is capable. He's able. We're not. He has strength. We don't. He has might. We don't. He has capability in battle. We really don't. Only the Lord does. So these three things, strong, mighty, mighty in battle. And then we have in verse 10, who is the King of Glory? The Lord of hosts. Now that is an ancient designation for the Lord of hosts. And the hosts there, but not hosts of armies of men, but hosts of armies of angels. So if he is the Lord of a host of angels, he is the King of Glory, because where do angels reside? They reside in the mountain of the Lord, in that holy place, and the Lord is king over them. And so he marches out as the great general before a host of mighty angels. Well, that goes right back to our mighty in battle, doesn't it? It goes right back to strong and mighty. This is the general who marches out before the hosts of heaven. That's who it is. Remember what Jesus said about going to the cross? He said, I could have asked for a legion of angels, and the Father would have given it to him. You see, he is the Lord of hosts, isn't he? He could have asked for it because he's the one. This is the Lord of hosts, the King of Glory. He's over all of creation. He is the owner of heaven and earth. He's the Lord of hosts of angels, and he's also the one who is over all the men in the world. And then we close with another Selah. So, who is this King of Glory? He is the most wonderful, the most glorious, the most mighty, the most majestic of all, the Lord of hosts. Join me again next time. We'll look at Psalm 25 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.